Alabama football is now halfway through the midpoint of spring practice with the spring game just over a week away on April 22nd. I figured this would be a good time to talk with On3 coaching insider Jesse Simonton about Alabama's offense. Jesse, what will the identity of Alabama's offense be with Tommy Rees as offensive coordinator?
Well, we've spoken about this before, Josh, but Tommy Rees came to Alabama to being a little balanced to an offensive attack that had become too finesse, too focused on the downhill passing attack, but focused with RPOs, less play action passing. They're going to get back to running the football a little bit. Nick Saban wants to be a bully. He's seen what Kirby Smart's doing at Georgia. You can still have a prolific offense that is pass first, but you have to be able to consistently run the football, especially in short yardage. That's kind of the scheme that Tommy Rees and the flair he's going to bring to the quote-unquote Alabama offense this fall.
Yeah, and he's got some serious weapons on offense. But before we talk about that, Alabama fans, subscribe to the On3 YouTube page. What an exciting time to be an Alabama fan as you transition on from Bryce Young. So we got you covered. Hit that subscribe button right now. All right, so Jesse, what weapons on offense do you expect Rees to utilize within his scheme?
Well, unlike a year ago, this is a receiver room I think Nick Saban feels confident in. And he certainly, if you've heard his comments this spring, he loves what they've seen, the early returns from a five-star Malik Benson, the number one junior college player in the country. The growth of a guy like Isaiah Bond could be one of the fastest players in America this fall. And then you have kind of the continued development of a vet, Ja'Cory Brooks. He's now a couple of years into the program. Jermaine Burton did not look overly comfortable in that system a year ago. Still led the team in catches. Yeah. I think he's going to be much better in 2023. So unlike last season where the receiver room, raw, inexperienced, couldn't really get off, separation, the returns this spring have been nothing but positive. And so I think that's a big sign for an Alabama team that really relied on Bryce Young being a superhero last year because the receiver room didn't have those first-round players.
If you had to pick one of those guys that you just mentioned, who do you think emerges as wide receiver one for Alabama?
The sleeper is probably a guy like Isaiah Bond, just because I think he came on so strongly at the end of the year. But I could see a guy like Malik Benson being a one-and-done guy in Tuscaloosa. If he's as good as they're advertising, when you're getting, Henry Ruggs comps for what Ruggs did at Alabama, that's a first-round talent right there. And so, his ability to really create plays after the catch, take a slant, 70 yards. It's a little bit Henry Ruggs, Jamison Williams-esque. I could see Malik Benson by the end of, going into SEC play, I should say, he kind of emerging as the guy for the Crimson Tide.
So all this talk about the passing game, but do you think this offense will be more based on the run or based on the pass?
I still think they're going to focus, on the passing game, letting that lead the attack. Nick Saban understands that in modern football, that's, how you're going to generate the majority of your chunk plays. That's how you create explosiveness, dynamic, offense. You put your athletes in space. But again, unlike a year ago, they're not going to rely on these home runs specifically. They're going to have more balance. So a guy like Justice Hayes, Jace Williams, some of these guys in the backfield, they're loaded at tailback, and they're going to give all four of those guys opportunities to carry the football.
Alabama landed the number one class in America in the last recruiting cycle. So who are some of the incoming freshmen Alabama fans can start getting excited about?
Well, I mentioned Benson, but I think, again, the returns from he has a little experience. He's played a couple of years at JUCO, but the fact that a guy like Justice Hayes, a Georgia legacy, ultimately kept his commitment to Alabama, stuck around there. He's coming this spring and just kind of, I think, impressed a ton of folks. He's 5'11", 205 pounds, and is a three-down tailback. So while Jahmyr Gibbs, wasn't exactly a guy who was running between the tackles, still an all-world talent, Haynes can do it all. And he came in, apparently had a 30-some-odd yard run in Friday's scrimmage on his first carry against the first-team defense. Again, Jace is probably going to be the number one tailback. Roydell Williams has been there a while. But I could see Justice Hayes, getting the lion's share of the carries by the end of the season.
All right, Bama football getting started. They'll hit the spring practice in about 10 days. So, Jesse, thanks for coming on Coach's Corner and checking in with us.
Thank you for watching. Make sure you smash that subscribe button for me. And remember to check out all the videos on the On3 YouTube page.